let's take a look at the pistol, because EG have gone for so many set strats in this tournament so far.
A very, very prep-heavy team. We'll see what they can pull out now against Talon. So now it's a battle in mid. A couple of shots exchanged, at least with the pistols, and a fast play towards it. GARNETS up, draft dash, no one clear in the corner. And Cornwell immediately capitalizes, but he is taken out, and it's a bit strained, isn't it? His fight is taking place, just trying to duck and weave and dodge inside the smokes, but the spike is rotating pretty quickly.
And that's off the back of KRWS finding another important lurk. Remember how good this guy was in the opening match when he played on Haven. His OMEN was finding all of these timings. And KRWS has just ushered the rest of his team in to get a plant down. They're still at a disadvantage here, but it's now winnable.
The smokes just come back online, so that's going to be covering up the Heaven, and KRWS looks like he wants to try and take the fight to them. Still being watched for the angle though, and anyone can win it. Ends up being EG down to that 2v4. The players really do. FOXZ needs to watch this angle. A couple of taps, but eventually everybody cleaned up, and it is EG who will be taking the pistol round.
Only a couple of shots making the difference. 24 health, 23 health on BCJ and JAWGEMO. That was a very tense, close pistol round. And I do want to put a serious highlight here onto KRWS. I wasn't even aware when we were casting their first game that he had started IGLing for the team. Because at every other event that we've seen, X10, Xerxia, Talon, whatever you want to call the core of this roster, every other event it's been FOXZ who's been the team leader. And KRWS has only just taken over recently. That game on Haven where he obliterated the server, he was IGLing for the first time. And now he's made the call for the rest of his team to force up heading into the second.
So a lot being put into this round. With the plant online, gives them that extra money that they can play with, and they're not messing around in the slightest. A lot of space being gained right now as they're trying to split up into A. Dash through, so Garnet's cutting up a couple of the placements, stuns as well, landing and the util at the back of the site, and, well, EG just overwhelmed. Can't withstand that kind of pressure.
Ethan caught with utility in his hands there. BOOSTIO trying to get the creep out.
This is a contact play as well. The paranoia clears that one corner, close for them, and BOOSTIO covers again. From the one angle in the fight trying to be taken, SUHIBOYS not coming out on top. A rapid response from EG.
That is amazing team play between BCJ and BOOSTIO. I mean, fantastic. He pushes off the paranoia, that isolates a 1v1, swings back around, and this player swinging default, look, shooting BOOSTIO in the back, cleaned up by BCJ. Yeah. So good between the two of them. Excellent fragging too by BCJ there towards the end. And that was a dangerous round. Highlighting a couple of important things too as we head into an eco for Talon. Gives us the opportunity to talk about it. You can see Ethan has really high stats. Okay, I'm not going to go through each one, but he's the best performing player at the tournament so far. Only played one game, but really high up there. I don't think he's going to be the power player on Breach necessarily. Okay, he gets an anti-eco, but you remember in that previous round, he gets caught with utility in his hand and run down on the site. I think it's just so much more awkward to have a big fragging performance on Breach. So far, he's played Yoru. He was set up to succeed massively. KO, he was dominant. He looked so good playing mid on Ascent. I think he's going to struggle a little more, and that's going to require other players like JAWGEMO or BCJ to really step up here on Haven. Unless Ethan just surprises me and plays out of his mind. But he has played Breach before, and it often looks a little weaker of a pick for him. I assume, though, that he's just picking it because he's more comfortable than Com right now.
Yeah. Seems that way. Interesting play by KRWS, actually. TP for the sound Q in mid to pull a couple of players towards B on the defense side, so it might give them the free plant that Talon are looking for. And indeed it does, so EG now just setting up for a faster retake. Better weapons in their hands. You can see the stun and the flash. Pretty clean, pretty clinical so far. It is JITBOYS doing a lot of work with that Sheriff, but ultimately 3 players remain, so the rifle's still going to be remaining in the hands of them.
And the KO pick in general is an interesting one for Haven. You don't often see it. Usually you'd expect a double flash or a Sova with the breach. And you can see there Com's little underhand flash that he tosses out from Heaven is probably going to be a key reason that they've gone for that. I'm sure they've got some other plays cooked up too. Yeah. EG have demonstrated. I mean, I was doing a VOD review of them this morning, Brent. I spotted 7 unique set plays in their first series across the 2 maps that they played on Pearl and Ascent. I'm sure they've got more, but the strat book looks fairly deep for Evil Genius.
Heavy prep time for EG, that's the name of their game. Talon going in this, feels like into this tournament, honestly, with a bit of whimsy behind them. Right now, just make sure to watch these common angles. They are holding for a deeper push towards up into A lobby.
Is that just through the smoke?
It feels like it, yeah, the smoke, I think, maybe just getting placed. And that peak timing, but now two players going to be evacuating, and they trust JAWGEMO to be holding this line-of-sight angle towards A long.
And this is an area where FOXZ's going to have to commit the Trailblazer. Yep, there it goes, just to clear this out, in case anybody's pushed up onto a deep line. Ethan's gone for a full rotate all the way over to C, anticipating the rest of Talon dropping off, but this knife, does it catch anybody? It does.
One player to breach. It's a pretty big option available to them, I think, in terms of that info as well, considering JITBOYS one away from his ult. Anywhere the breach is going to be as well, you're going to be thinking that's going to be where the execute happens. With 40 seconds now left into this round, this heavy investment from Talon. They've already lost that one player, SUHIBOYS, early on, but see if they can make the most of it. Flash into the back, updraft play as well. Onto it, BOOSTIO will fall.
And he had his lockdown available.
So 20 seconds left, this plan. Will it be going down without too many problems? There was an aftershock there, potentially a faster play. There was a flash up close once more. Now the Rolling Thunder rips through that connector, but Talon still coming up on top when it comes to these kills. JAWGEMO does dodge that util for the moment, now walking his way forwards. There's a flash to try and accompany it, make sure that he can get into the front of this site, but he is left grasping, trying to spot where some of these players might be, and Talon are playing this particularly quite well now, just biding their time, weaving in and out, making sure that there's not an easy fight to take. Even a spam for the angle. JAWGEMO far too low now on 7 health, and it looks like the call might be made to just try and save here. Time running out.
Beautiful play by Talon, actually. They fought for both sides of the connector, and in fact got most of the kills over at C, despite using the Rolling Thunder on the A connector. But to me, it's not necessarily fighting there that was the great play, but as soon as they retreated, they fell back into a completely different setup. They didn't offer any of their players up to be picked off, and instead played really safe positions where they could get a reflank through Mirage. They had the fault line to peek. Talon clearly know what they're going for in the post plan. And that's a bit unfortunate for BCJ, isn't it? Yeah. Getting caught out like that is not how you want to begin this map.
So an answer back from Talon. Plenty of money in the bank for EG to be able to get this buy together as well, though. So will be rifles versus rifles once more. And it's a quick play as well. There was a flash and a paranoia, and you can see the fault line on top of it. All the usual utility being used to try and push their way through. And I think that was, again, spam through the smoke, catching onto onto BCJ, I should say. Crew's the one claiming that kill. There was a lockdown. It's a fast approach. I mean, EG looking to try and retake this one very quickly. I believe there's a player detained there in the cubby, but we'll see what more they can really do. And JITBOYS is covering the angle. The kill found, a nice double peek with the rest of them, as the aftershock was pushing them out of position. But they still need to try and get this defuse going. A one-way smoke, making things far too difficult for them, though, and it sets up Talon again nicely, playing that long angle.
Another great post-plan setup from Talon. They're so good at being able to get into the site. And honestly, of course they are. Look at their composition. It's got double flashes with the paranoia. It's very difficult to stop this comp from getting into sight. But then for post plants, you have to be very disciplined. And I like the way that they play that. They're forced off site. They triple face to stop the first tap. They've got a one-way smoke. And in both of these situations, the last couple of rounds, BCJ's fallen in unfortunate fashion. Just spam through a smoke there. All right, bit of a set play.
But oh my goodness. And
I can't believe SUHIBOYS was ready for that.
Yeah, apparently expecting it. I mean, maybe the stun just orchestrating it a little bit too much.
It definitely does. It definitely does. But I still think it's incredible that he was ready for the updraft play.
Yeah, he was aiming at the sky there, more than ready.
And EG are going to throw a bunch of those at you. We haven't seen them play on Haven yet, but just from how they played Pearl and Ascent,
yeah,
you know that they've got some set strats for eco rounds and the like.
That feels like a bit of the stylistic differences between these two teams. You know, as much as we were talking at the beginning about parallels between them, EG, like you were saying, Josh, you know, very focused on set strategies, making sure that they have set plays as well to try and push them through and win them rounds. Sometimes, though, can take matters into their own hands with a couple of risks, but still a 4v4. Does claim them one rifle, though, on this flank, and we'll see what they can get done here, because SUHIBOYS is going to have to be quite active holding down this flank. It's a flash to repeat. BOOSTIO was ready for it.
Wow.
Dodged the flash. Really fast reactions on this one, and this could begin to get a bit more dangerous. CRWS TP's across. Never flashes through the box. It is dodged. Smokes are starting to fall now. BCJ swinging wide with the stinger. Bit of run and gun at play, and everyone falls, collapsing to the setup of EG.
After we just praised Talon for 2 really nice post plants, that one fell apart far too easily.
Yeah.
There was no good weaponry available to EG until they got that one pick. And you can see EG actually pinging it out on the map right now. Probably someone asking BOOSTIO, where did you get that first kill? Where did you get the rifle? And it was off this push down mid.
Yeah.
There is no world.
No
There
way,
is no
man.
world he hit that.
You've got to be kidding me. That is disgusting.
There's
I mean, that's
just
honestly,
no way.
that is just a LAN moment. You can only do that on LAN. You can only do that on LAN, man. That's like just a pixel angle.
Wow. That's the shot of the tournament so far.
Talon has still been able to scrap together a bite. Guardian in the hands of Garnet, but down a swarm. Set util, a gap in the smoke. That is a bad smoke, and it's created an opening, but coverage was there again. JITBOYS, the rookie, just trying to help them out. A bit of a, silly play almost, just wading into the smoke, and still that gap just really not helping them out in the slightest. Ethan being able to take fight after fight from that one position. Still no one's cleared him out of it. He is low though, so CRWS returns to fire, but he is the sole player left alive now for Talon. And JAWGEMO, good God, man. That is crispy.
JAWGEMO and BOOSTIO really looking like they're on fire. But I think it's worth saying, Brent, CRWS and BCJ are similar players in the sense that it's the round 9 plan rather than this one. But who knows, maybe someone can hit a BOOSTIO flick pixel shot. I guess not a flick, the BOOSTIO pixel shot.
Yeah, the reaction time test.
Yeah, there's definitely a reflex play of the day.
The weaker weaponry for Talon. It's a slow start to the round for them. Just contacting up. It's a risky play, but they don't want to give too much away here. Just hoping that they can catch someone unaware. And that player might be BOOSTIO. Pressure's going to be on this guy now. You can see him being swarmed from every single avenue. And finally, the util going to start triggering it. JAWGEMO's going to be covering the one angle for him. See, the dash was activated, but spam straight down, and a lovely smoke to try and separate at least that he could play around. Still the players fall, and the spike will get planted for Talon now to play this post plant. Retaking with the up, never really going to be too ideal, but there's a paranoia now to Rolling Thunder actually off the back of that. Just a small piece of utility being used, and JITBOYS, well, the flash is just immaculate. Catching through, and it's up to BCJ. From the heaven position, does have the rifle, needs to take a good fight, but just mistimes it. And what a round by Talon.
So many thrifties in this game so far. Talon with another great post plan. And JITBOY, I feel like he was not able to have this level of impact the last time we saw him on Haven, but since then, woke up, his fracture performance was huge, his breach play now, I mean, farming the Rolling Thunder and using it to massive effect in this round. Separating that retake and allowing FOXZ to pick people off at will.
Yeah.
That setup from BOOSTIO, though, not a fan of it. And BOOSTIO has gone back over to a different C setup now.
It really does leave him a bit high and dry there. I mean, I think there was a smoke to try and bail him out in that prior round, but matters not.
They also broke his short nanoswarm before he could activate it. BCJ holding close with the judge.
Yeah, can he be the difference maker? He's paranoid. Not revealed just yet, still wading into the smoke. Garnet, I mean, just spamming a common angle, I suppose. Stray bullet lands onto the cranium of BCJ, but that plan down now, these post plants, we'll see what Talon can do in it.
It's fantastic ultimates for Talon. They should be winning this. And if Ethan could have got behind there, maybe he could have been the game changer for them. I just don't see how this retake is going to work.
No, with JAWGEMO as well, retaking with this operator, I mean, the possibility is there with the angle. There is no one-way smoke, obviously, and there you go.
What?
Switching straight into this one. The aftershock, I think maybe JITBOYS just playing close into the cover here now. An attempt is made, sticking to the fuse, and the flank timing by SUHIBOYS just slightly off. EG making me eat my own words. When I saw that operator in the hands of JAWGEMO, I was thinking they could have a difficult task ahead of them, but now can play those sight lines straight down the angles, and yeah, EG very disciplined, being able to hold that one down.
I'm also really surprised that SUHIBOYS doesn't try to commit an ult to it. He went for a reflank garage and he was way too late. Some kind of miscommunication there in the Talon camp. Ooh. Good shot from Ethan with the Guardian. And that has hyped up EG.
Get out of my way.
So far is EG with the edge. Not wasting any time with that one, are they? Look at them. JAWGEMO pushing all the way into A lobby, taking all that space at the back of the KO knife, but Talon for a play of their own, pushing all the way forwards, and it's into connector. A bit of a bait and switch. Garnet taking up all the space in the connector, but no players to meet him. Won't be able to find any targets. Still, it's going to be that plan, and including that the lockdown as well, to push them all the way back. And Talon are now just taking space into the other connector, pushing all the way back into it, and they might have just overextended. Overcooking the play just ever so slightly, because BCJ, he had the angle watched for. And you got to respect that counter lockdown that was in play, pushes them out of position. JITBOYS has a lineup for it with the aftershock. JAWGEMO not quite getting half, but it matters not. Watched for, and the defuse will come through.
They're definitely cooking. I mean, Talon are definitely cooking on these attack rounds, but BCJ just read the play so well. Talon are very noisy in the way that they take C, and BCJ's positioning is kind of forced, but also perfect. He's on the edge of the lockdown, because he has to be, but then he's dominating this smoke, which is exactly where Talon tried to check.
One enemy remaining.
Not sure what they're hoping for. They're just running into their own smoke.
A bit unusual. Yeah.
Strange situation. Knocks Talon down to a weak buy.
2 more rounds left in the half, so this is one of their 2 opportunities to see if they can make the half a bit more reasonable. Potential for 7-5, but it'll take quite a bit. Garnets with the spike in his hands, getting chunked down. My goodness, just waiting into the nano swarm while this was happening. I mean, this is just brave, isn't it, from JAWGEMO? Some backup there with a paranoia. What is going on? Just TPing all over the bloody place.
How is CRWS not taking a point of damage?
Still tries to take the fight. It's being watched for.
Rolling Thunder used, by the way.
Into the side to try and take that space. It's all over the place. Right now, swinging through with a dash. The knives ready. There's some backup once more. Players taking quite a bit of damage. It's all just down to FOXZ. Reflank as well. BCJ finds the kill, so safe hands once more. And so EG coming up to quite a commanding lead so far. And 1 more round to potentially get that 9-3.
Extremely puggy game, though.
Yeah.
I mean, rounds like that, chaotic, happening down C long. In terms of really how Evil Geniuses were dealing with it, with BCJ and JAWGEMO, just awkward exchange. And a Rolling Thunder being invested there as well speaks to how much EG are putting respect on Talon and are worried about losing those kind of eco rounds, and it means that Talon have a massive advantage here when it comes to the ult economy. Big rounds, big ults to get onto the site, big ults to be able to convert. And EG are committing 4 players to an A lobby control play very early. This puts BOOSTIO on an island.
Pressure is on. Trailblazer to lead them in. It does take this space, but they don't spot too much.
A lobby push.
Setup, yeah. Well, the A lobby push, yeah. And it's going to be watched for, I believe, by the alarm bot. So
yeah, they found the alarm bot. I thought SUHIBOYS was going to be waiting for it with CRWS, but they decided to just take the C site instead. However, SUHIBOYS has called for reinforcements.
Oh, here we go. There's going to be a bit of a clash now onto the flank.
And Com has used his null command so
far
early.
Away. It's so far away, isn't it? A little
Incredibly
bit odd.
early.
Maybe anticipating that they might be trying to use the ults to try and retake with, but okay. EG, they do take good fights. Eventually, Ethan helping out, swinging through double doors, but it's not going to be any sort of suppress. And now you see the ults being used. That's the Rolling Thunder by JITBOYS to push them away from that spike, but the defuse now coming through up close and personal. It is so damn scrappy, and it is just being stuck. Nothing to stop it, no sort of spam. And apparently it's a Red Bull clutch. as we end that final round here. 9-3 will be the scoreline for EG leading.
What a half! What an absurdly strange half. But while the timeline is up, take a look at those retakes. Talon did a great job getting the plant down every time, but my God, they could not hold on to it.
EG's success in these retakes has just been paramount, hasn't it?
But it was all over the place.
All over the place it was. Listen, it was a coordinate match.
I mean, look at Ethan giggling about that one.
Sometimes you listen on the big stage, things like that can happen, but that's going to do it for the first half of Haven. Let's send it down to the desk to find out more.
Thank you very much, Bren and SciShow. Now, we haven't seen EG's Haven.
Interesting set play ideas. That stun lands on so many people.
Yeah. Oh, they just want to fight it though. Straight up, it's a scrap in A lobby. Swinging through into short. Let's see if the shots can be found. Eventually resetting the aim a little bit there. So going for that 2-for-2 play.
Big flank.
Big flank already occurring. Not wasting too much time. How is JITBOYS getting away with that? Again and again, still in short. The wider swing still finding his mark. The player's weak enough for it. And just trying to contest through the smokes. Talon taking that pistol round, very important.
A major pistol keeps them in the game. If EG had won it, that might have just been over in a flash. But also, there's another big theme that Talon showed last time on their defense, was that with CRWS playing on the C side of the map, look how fast this flank comes through. If you look at the mini-map here, these guys are sprinting down C and getting behind A lobby really quickly. So if at any point Talon realize EG are full A hitting, they're going to get wrapped. Oh, what are Talon going for here? EG with the force buy. Yeah, big fight in mid, perhaps?
Half armor and the stingers. It's an interesting buy. He's going to be dropping them down quite low. Talon taking that re-swing. You can hear the footsteps. Fox does get the one right behind. That's good. The stun as well, just to try and at least help relieve that pressure that's coming out onto the site. But a pop flash play. Waiting their way through. GARNETS as well, though. He can use the smokes. Bit of subterfuge of his own. Back and forth. But Talon again just coming out on top. And EG's economy is going to be set back after that one. Moments like that really are what can give a team like Talon the capability to climb and make that comeback a bit more of a possibility.
That's very true. But I also think that force buying in this meta is still really valid. And especially, force buying should be better against teams that are good on a bonus. And I think Talon are the kind of team that are going to cook up some kind of crazy bonus round. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It is going to make the game a bit more even, though. My eyes are always drawn to what Talon are doing in mid here. They've got CRWS and JITBOY just spamming this. BOOSTIO down to literally one HP here. But I feel like if they don't see any contact in mid, CRWS and JITBOY just look so antsy, like they want to push. So that's something to keep an eye on as we head deeper into this second half.
Look how bizarre this is. I mean, they've only got FOXZ playing up close onto A. Not even holding a bit of a one and done or an off angle, just willing to try and take and absorb the fight. Trailblazer to try and get a bit of information. See what he can clear in the corner. Spots the one player, possibly even two.
And Bren, I think it's important to, oh man. It's important to realize that EG's composition doesn't have a great tool to retake A lobby at this kind of time in the round. They don't have a drone from the Sova, no dog from the Skye. So how do they re-clear A lobby in these kind of moments? That's another question that maybe we'll see the answer to later on down this map.
You could wait for the knife to come back online for Com, but so far the PCJ just trying to fake that presence towards C. The GARNETS is watching the angle.
30 seconds
Deep
left.
down short, so he's going to spot a lot of those players out, and any sort of space gained, well, the warbang angle, Ethan's taken care of. Still 20 seconds left into the round. You got utility out in your hand there, BOOSTIO, and the plant will at least go down to a bit of extra pocket change for EG, but Talon are just starting to mount round after round.
And JITBOY already up to that Rolling Thunder. Prime Gaming flawless, but I'm looking towards the next round because that's really going to define the economy here for Evil Geniuses. Yeah. I'm intrigued to see how BOOSTIO kind of works A lobby for EG, because unless you take it right at the beginning of the round, I really feel like this comp is going to struggle to get it back late. So you're going to see a massive clash here. Round 16, a bit of a delayed bonus for Talon with big ults. and this is 4v4 in A lobby.
The fault line should get off, I think, before the knife hits. No, well, not quite, but you can see the Rolling Thunder. Yep, they want to fight this one. Right up close into the smokes. The classic right click, a bit of a free gun moment by the way. Just running and gunning, and it is pure chaos. It's pure pandemonium, but somehow EG have come out on top.
If you want me to break that one down, you're going to have to give me 3 replays. That was all over the place.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows at all? Left down to SUHIBOYS, and just hoping that he can isolate one of the fights, but opens himselup. No one really swinging off that one, but damage was done enough that SUHIBOYS might second guess himself trying to fight this one, but he does have a lot of money in the bank. I think it's worth just trying to fight this one to take weapons out of the hands of EG.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's not a large chance of him doing too much, but even knocking the armor off BOOSTIO or something is actually important. Keeping the economy under check.
Don't find too much though, and a stun to slow him down, making sure that they can retreat out of there. So EG safe and sound, and now that's going to find them on their 10th round here.
Ooh, SUHIBOYS just gets away. Yeah, the clash in A lobby is massive. It looked to me like Talon just overextended, trying to follow up on the breach ult a little. Garnet got good value over on the A side of things, but maybe the pushing short just not quite working. Yeah,
it's those replays you're asking for.
Exactly. Well, that's the crucial one, actually, because the Rolling Thunder and the Paranoia both missed. And so Talon are super hard committing in A lobby, but they don't realize no one's stunned and no one's blind.
Yeah, I feel like you need a smoke at the back of A lobby there to even fight that, but it just wasn't there. It's an open sight line, open angle. Well, fast play anyway. EG not messing around, are they? No command popped off. It's gonna be that C split working their way through. Lovely flash to push that angle off Garnets. It's alive for now, but eventually falls. There is gonna be that trade, and right from the side, just into the corner of the site, no one clearing it. Cruz with the slightly deep ajar smoke, I suppose, at the top of C, just gives him that tiny amount of room to work with.
And that one is unfortunate for EG. They decided to go for a C split off the rip, and Talon already had 4 players in that area of the map. So one goes down to the operator immediately, and Talon have already got all of the reinforcements there to play every angle, every crossfire.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any way that EG would win in that round, but it was a bit of a roll of the dice.
And so far, this map has been a bit bizarre until the way it's been played.
There's still danger in this too.
Yeah.
Round 18 is going to be a force from EG. JAWGEMO with the knives, BOOSTIO only with Stinger.
Seeing what they can get done. That's a bit of counter spam. Com almost punished there. The Tracer's giving away his position. JAWGEMO does have a lot of his util to work with, but you're all right, Josh. How do they clear this? It looks like a deep smoke to cut off that angle.
Yeah, this one just designed to deny information, make it seem like EG could be crossing short or long. And forces out the Trailblazer. I think they're going to have a decent idea that there could be people trying to get into A.
And this is a dangerous task. Garnet just trying to hold down the one angle. Dodges his teammates' flash that does get them good information, but right as the dash was fading, he makes the most of it. Com falling, but JAWGEMO not wasting any time, but spotted in the end.
Wow.
Just on that left-hand approach, taken out. Garnet's managed to updraft as well onto this sniper perch, and my God, rattling shot after shot.
Absolutely destructive round from Garnet.
BCJ does claim 2 though in the middle of all of this, so
he'd have to be on for the ace though, Bren.
Yeah, it would be a massive task ahead of him, and there's not much time to work with at all. Being surrounded now by the Talon players who are aware of his position.
Awesome round by Garnet, but I don't think that EG are doing a great job of pushing him out of position there. They had a fault line. Ethan was saving it for something else. And look, they're just wandering onto that spot, allowing Com to get it. That's not a bad one, honestly. I mean, you know, you're trying to push him out, but he just is so confident by that point, grabbing those final 2 kills. Talon are straight back into this game.
Oh, yeah.
10-8 the scoreline. They're favored in the next one because EG are dropped down to a bad bye. And once more, you see them kind of itching for a fight in mid.
really not shying away from it, despite the fact that the money does allow EG to invest into a couple of stingers. And
Cruz,
Sheriff.
you do not want Cruz to donate a rifle.
Good God, man! SUHIBOYS, and he's been punished. That was a fault line and a paranoia. Instant response, instant reaction from EG. Now going to start swarming into this side as well. BOOSTIO, this angle that he's holding, slight off angle.
Could be everything, this one.
Yeah.
If BOOSTIO beats Cruz, grabs the Phantom.
Grabs the rifle.
What?
Garnets was going for a really fast play.
Oh no!
The shot's whiffing, but eventually coming up with the kill and the goods. Jumping there with a classic right click. BCJ is rewarded. What can JITBOYS do? This guy has been a bit of a menace, but already isolating these fights. Finding two of the players, but last flash being used now. Time ticking down, one away from the ult. Hotline almost online for him. Turret not quite going down just yet, and didn't anticipate the position of BCJ.
This has got to be the most thrifties that we've had in a map so far.
Ridiculous.
It feels like there's always an opportunity for one of the teams to overwhelm a lone player on site. And I feel like that's what it's coming down to most of the time. The defending teams just not really respecting the fact that the attackers can bunch up and bowl someone over. Cruz definitely could have been a bit smarter with the way that he played that too, anticipating somebody to be watching for the flank. He ran into the alarm bot, Brett. I mean, Cruz ran into the alarm bot and then didn't pay any attention to where BOOSTIO would be. Garnet has immediately found a kill with the operator too, just peeking.
I mean, there's just no slowing down, is there? Feels like round after round, and that was BCJ TPing into spawn. He's been dealt with, shorty up close, has to reload that one. Garnet, he's breaking ankles out here, man, and he's found the kill anyway. What are we witnessing?
This is amazing. Oh my God. Wow, everything in that round, from BCJ teleporting into spawn to the body kill from Garnet. It's a great opener. Garnet's clearly very talented with the AWP, but so many of these rounds are getting silly with it, aren't they? Yeah, I feel the same way, Ethan. I feel the same way. This must be a wild match to play. Can you imagine yourself being sat there on the stage playing probably the biggest game of your career, unless you're somebody like Ethan or BCJ that have been in these positions before, the more experienced players. A lot of these guys out on stage right now have never been in a spot like this, playing to get deep into a tournament or going straight home, and it's wild.
I think it's manifesting before our eyes, I'm not gonna lie. You're seeing EG taking this time out. I wouldn't be surprised right now if the comms are very much, guys, slow this one down. You can see Potter is popping off right now because it feels like EG, they lose a player, but they don't cancel the hit. They just want to go fast off of it, and they want to, you know, try and make up for some of the mistakes prior, but a little bit too hot-blooded, I feel like, in terms of the play so far from EG, not willing to slow down that pace.
And I think that that would be really beneficial against Talon too, because Talon want to get aggressive. If you give them the space, they're going to make enough mistakes for you to capitalize. So Talon putting a heavy emphasis on A lobby here. We're going to see another one of these clashes, and Garnet's been so good for the early op kill.
This time trying to take the fight right down into short. It's going to be spotted out by that knife. The dash is active. Obviously won't be able to use it again.
Not going for an early peek.
No, maybe waiting until his dash, yeah. So now he can actually use it. So this is the timing he wants to try and take. Smoke to drop it off, and still he doesn't want to give up the angle, but does manage to at least escape with his life. There was a paranoia sent down to push off that angle.
4 defenders on A.
Yeah, this is a massive over-rotation, isn't it?
BOOSTIO's kind of got the rest of the map in terms of utility. SUHIBOYS has kind of got the rest of the map in terms of information. And to be honest, BCJ hasn't really been that active on the lurk role, so I don't think they're too worried about it. And look at that.
TP across
great information for Cruz.
Yeah, he's going to be seeing, okay, there's no players over on that particular section of the map. Guys, it's probably leaning towards this A hit. BOOSTIO does have the lockdown to try and get them into position.
Double face.
He wanted to use it. Oh my goodness. And still the fight continues. Not willing to give them an inch still. EG, both players cutting across the angle with a TP from BCJ, but again, it's going to require a miracle. 25 seconds remaining. No more TP available to him. Still just about narrowly escapes that one angle. Garnets the jump peak. Does he spot it up close? He does. Good discipline from them and backing away, time running low. The call is made just to save the rifle. BCJ does have enough to spend into the next one. Gonna aim to do some damage, but I feel like you should just be saving in that scenario.
Yeah, the money's gonna definitely be getting tight here. Talon's defensive rotations looking gorgeous. Reading EG completely there. And it was slow. I mean, coming out of the back of the EG timeout, after whatever Potter said, they absolutely slowed the pace. But the big problem is they never created a threat elsewhere on the map.
No, there was never a tell that they could have been going C or B or anywhere else.
Just one piece of utility. And again, actually, that's where a lot of teams are using the Sova drone for misdirection.
Yeah.
And instead, this EG comp is playing very face up.
So Talon not getting punished for that over rotation. It's a bit different though, so trying to take control subtly through A. That's a stun on a fault line though, re-clearance. There really just wasn't too much else off the back of that one, but still BCJ falling now.
And that's all the info. They know exactly where these players are. They've got to be garage and B.
Yeah, it's going to make it really, really difficult. In fact, all the space was taken up by Talon. They're holding this long angle. JAWGEMO, oh, he was watching it, the updraft play. Still the double face, the double swing. Util now being used forwards and needs to be a bit more behind this one, but KRWS just leaving it and just completely unaware that there could be another player. Why not? I suppose they would have been swinging with them in the first place. And again, Ethan just trying to make a risky play, trying to swing into the spawn, but that was a full investment by EG, really. Buying up into that round to just try and get over that hurdle, try and get past that 11th round that they've got, but all it's resulted in now is an even scoreline.
And while it might feel like similar tales to the first half with the defending team dominating the score, I actually feel that the way we're getting to this spot is very different. Talon were having big executes to get in on the site, but then failing the post plans. For EG, they're having difficulty even getting onto the plan. They're losing players 2, sometimes 3 before they even...
Into this round, if you lose this one, it's going to be map point for Talon, and your money is just going to be in the bin.
Yep. This is for the map.
Such an important round. How does this begin?
No utility used for EG towards A lobby.
No.
So Talon immediately rotate off A. They're getting the read on EG in the first 10 seconds.
It's a massive read as well. I mean, GARNETS has got that operator as well to just hold that line of sight angle into A. So again, you're seeing a bit of the weaknesses of EG's comp, not being able to re-clear into A. And it does allow Talon to commit their entirety of their team essentially towards B. And this is just looking all over the place. Util being used one after the other. The KRWS again. It's on that high ground angle. It's all going to be down to BOOSTIO. And they need a miracle right now. There's 55 seconds. A lot of time to play with in this round, but it's going to be almost impossible to isolate just singular fights. The spike has been dropped into such an awkward position, and this wall so spammable. BOOSTIO almost falling from that, down to 66 health. The reposition looks his way across, flash over the top, and he just can't quite catch the angle.
12 rounds for Talon. What a comeback. Unbelievable scenes. And they are in a position of being enormous favorites in the final round. They know exactly where EG are going.
Yeah.
EG's game plan there was to create some level of diversion in Garage and try and get a free plant down for JAWGEMO. He gets his knives online, dashes away. You know, you can see the play, but Talon have read it completely and utterly.
Not enough layers to it.
And got to give credit to KRWS too. This is his first couple of matches IGLing on the big stage. And he's got such a great read on EG.
Operator purchase again. Well, at least GARNETS maybe carrying the previous one into the round. There was a flash to try and push him back off that angle, but he still has that dash. I'm seeing it enabled. A bit of a panic jump, potentially. I don't think he intended to do that one. And while all this is happening, EG have managed to take a lot of control up towards A long. Is there anything to try and stop them in their tracks? A flash to push through the box. That actually is a team flash. I think JITBOYS trying to, again, relieve that pressure, but no one has cleared this corner. A smoke to try and cut up the side. Hom just trying to contact through. What a shot by GARNETS.
He's back in!
And he's back in. He just wants to take the fight to them, disrespecting the lockdown.
He's everywhere!
He will be detained in the end. And locked down out of position, he is taken out. TP forwards. It is so scrappy. The 2v2, but now the defender's locked down. This is going to give them a lot of space to work with. Talon, they can take their time with this one. BCJ, this is such a risky play.
I thought he was going to ego it with his ult. He gets out just in time.
Backs away, but this post plant needs to be perfect, and he's just trying to get on the line. It's all down to Ethan. The stun, it rocks the line, a side angle, still half on the defuse, and tries to go for the wider swing, but it is found for Talon Esports. 13-11 will be the scoreline for map number 1.
Beautiful comeback from the Pacific team. And it's looking like the Alpha bracket might be America's on one side, Pacific on the other. Still more of this series to go, and the teams separated by a thread. But my word, what a performance. JITBOYS Breach looking great like it did yesterday on Fracture.
Yep.
Cruz calling, amazing on the defense side, even though he couldn't get much done on attack. And I think EG have got to go back to the drawing board a little bit if that's their game plan on future maps, because their attack side calling quite one-dimensional. And really, there wasn't anybody able to get off that big play or that huge lurk. If you look at the way that Talon played the defense side, C was very open in a lot of these situations. They were heavy stacking towards B and towards A. And yet, no one from...
There wasn't any nuance.
Yeah, no one from EG decides to figure that out and go and explore. I guess that would be BCJ in those kind of spots, but or maybe even BOOSTIO.
Definitely a struggle for EG when we reach that second half, and Talon completing an amazing comeback. Passionate they did. You just saw them. I mean, these guys were shining from moment to moment.
It's unbelievable. I mean, who would have thought that this team, after not being able to play with Padify because of wrist surgery, after losing their superstar smokes player SKYE in the offseason, wow, look at that frustration from Ethan too.
Just that as well, though. I mean, heading into this tournament with rookie players on the roster.